Hello everyone, and for this project for Awesome, I'm going to talk about the Committee to Protect Journalists. When I first decided I wanted to make a project for Awesome video, I started looking at charities. I found charities that are trying to cure deadly diseases, charities that help the poor, and charities that help children get education. And those are all great causes, and I'm sure charities that support these causes will get money from Project for Awesome. Then I thought about what's most valuable to me, and that's information. And the journalist's entire job is to get information. Journalists are how we learn about all the injustices in the world, and if we don't know about them, how are we supposed to protect against them? So what do? Well, pretty simply, they protect journalists. Surprising, I know. They advocate for journalists that have been punished just for trying to share information, that have been censored when they're just trying to do the right thing. So in this video, I'm going to look at 4 journalists who the CPJ have honored at their International Press Freedom Awards, along with another journalist at the end, but his case is slightly different. And when I show these journalists, I'll also have their names on the screen because I'm almost certainly going to pronounce at least 3 out of the 4 names. So the first journalist is Mahmoud Abuzaid. He's a freelance photographer who is covering fights between Egypt's security forces and protesters. When he was detained and jailed, with Egypt accusing him of weapons possession, illegal assembly, murder, and attempted murder, with similar allegations also being made against hundreds of protesters. He's been held since 2013 and is still in prison now. This case is especially sad because he has hepatitis C, and his condition has been deteriorating while he's been in jail. The second journalist is Malani Subramaniam. She's an Indian journalist who is covering a Maoist insurgency against security forces in northern India. She reported on, quote, abuses by police and security forces, sexual violence against women, the jailing of minors, the shutdown of schools, extrajudicial killings, and threats against journalists in the region. The police have continuously harassed her, and a vigilante group surrounding her home and chanted, "Death to Malini Subramaniam." Due to this continuous harassment, she eventually had to leave the region along with other journalists. Third journalist is Kaan Dündar, the chief editor of the Turkish newspaper Cumhuriyet. When he published a report claiming that the Turkish government sent weapons to Syrian rebels, Turkish President Erdogan, pictured here, filed a criminal complaint and had him arrested, claiming what only matters to them is casting a shadow on Turkey's image. While at his trial, he got shot at twice by a man proclaiming him to be a traitor. When the courts ruled, they eventually gave him 7 years in prison, which was reduced to 5 years and 10 months. He is currently free pending appeal, but it's still to be seen what will happen to him. The last journalist that the CPJ honored is Oscar Martinez, who covers gang violence and other abuses in Central America. He's covered the stories of migrants who have suffered abuses and the stories of extrajudicial killings by police. That last subject is actually an extremely taboo subject in El Salvador. He's received death threats for these stories, as some people see any anti-police story as being pro-gang. He even had to leave the country for 3 weeks after one story on the killing of 8 people by police. Now you may remember, at the beginning of the video, I mentioned one journalist I wanted to mention that wasn't one of the journalists honored by the CPJ. That man is Ed Wu. Now, you're probably thinking, what do? Did he cover some secret government doomsday weapon or something? No, he didn't. His story actually contains much less danger and intrigue than the other ones. That's not the purpose of his story. The purpose of his story is to show that journalists face threats everywhere. That doesn't just mean those countries laugh at for their ridiculous dictators with all their medals. It also means here in the US of A. So, who actually is he? Well, he's a Canadian journalist who's traveling to the US to cover the Standing Rock protests. For those of you who don't know, these were a series of protests around an oil pipeline that was going to be built near a Native American reservation. That story isn't what I want to talk about. The point I wanted to talk about is when he was entering the US, border officials pulled him aside and interrogated him for 6 hours. When he refused to open his phone because it contained information about his sources, they took out his SIM card and also made him make copies of his notebooks and diaries and barred him for entering the US. Is this illegal? Technically, yes. But it definitely does not make it right. And this was in a country that is supposed to have the strongest free speech protections in the world. He said himself, quote, "In my mind, I had nothing to hide. America is actually one of the few places in the world where you can just say you're a journalist." So, if he can get attacked here in the United States, where else could he get attacked, and where can all the other journalists get attacked? That's why I support the Committee to Protect Journalists. Journalists provide an extremely valuable service, and they're also under constant threat. I mean, without them, we'd basically be left, well, in the dark.